Today we're going to make a delicious side dish, Steakhouse Spinach. It's going to make a small batch because a box of spinach cooks way down, but you could double or triple this recipe. You're going to need spinach, either fresh or frozen, milk, flour, salt, pepper, a little bit of nutmeg, butter, a shallot, and the secret ingredient is Boursin cheese, which you can find in most all grocery stores. It's a soft, spreadable cheese that has herbs and spices. It is delicious and it makes this dish awesome. The first thing we want to do if we're using fresh spinach is to fill a bowl with ice. Add water. And this is where we'll place our hot spinach to blanch it. So then we need to take a pot of water, bring it to boiling. Once the water comes to a boil, we'll add about a teaspoon kosher salt. And then we're going to begin cooking the spinach in batches. About a handful at a time. For about 30 seconds. When it's blanched, we're going to remove it with a slotted spoon or a tongs. And another handful. Then you want to push the spinach up against the strainer and get as much moisture out as you can this way. Then you're going to want to take a clean towel or paper toweling folded, put the spinach in there, and get as much of the moisture out of it as you can. Remove it from the paper towel and just give it a rough chop. Then we're going to take half of the shallot for this small recipe, or you could also use 2 tablespoons of any onion diced. Now we'll just need a very small saucepan because again this recipe makes about 1 to 2 servings. Add a teaspoon of butter and melt that down. This is going to be our white sauce or our bechamel, which is a French name for a white sauce. Go ahead and add your shallots to that. We want to cook those or saute them until they're soft, about 3 minutes, soft and beginning to look translucent. At that point we'll add a teaspoon of flour. And we're going to stir that in well so that it absorbs all of the moisture in the pan. It takes about 1 minute. Then we're going to add 1/3 cup of milk slowly. This will begin to thicken and it will thicken up in probably around 3 minutes. So continue to stir. It will come to a boil and you will see it starts to get a little thick. And then we're going to add salt and pepper, about 1/8 teaspoon each of those. And then if you like nutmeg, which really makes this recipe great, add about a pinch or so of nutmeg to this delicious sauce. I have a grinder here, but feel free just to use a ground nutmeg. Stir that in well. We'll add the dried spinach to this. Stir well to mix it all up. You can see it shrunk way down into a small amount, but it's very rich, so it makes a perfect side dish for 2 people. Then again, the secret ingredient is this Boursin cheese. You'll go ahead and add that. It will stir in well because it's quite hot. And then at this point, you can go ahead and serve this dish if you'd like to, but I'm going to place mine into a couple of ramekins or small dishes that I'm going to use and reheat later for my dinner. So I'm just going to place these in and they'll be ready to enjoy soon. I added a little Parmesan cheese to the top of this and reheated it, and look how delicious it looks. It's creamy, delicious, makes about 1/3 or 1/4 cup per person, and it's just enough. You'll feel like you're at a steakhouse. Try this recipe.